expose of the same old story that I heard yesterday. Yeah, it goes the headlines, man. They all just go to plan. They're framed and fixed and rigged, and you know they're all just spam. So buckle down, look right in, it crawls its way under your skin. Just got by on the things they spout, and you should give me that good news, because I'm tired of the same old shit.
Good morning, everybody. Friday morning, 7:30. Welcome to the ground with Giles and Jones. I'm Giles, and he's Jones. Yahoo!
Absolutely. We got Scott. And Deke.
Good morning. Scott Good morning. Deke. Yeah, we got Scott Dean, a guest of ours today. He owns the McHenry Outdoor Theater, local McHenry resident for quite a long time, right?
Whole life,
Your whole life,
whole
right?
life, yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's it. Of course, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at
Fantasy Factory.
Fantasy Factory. It is a dirty adult store. No, it's not.
It's not
No,
dirty
it's
physically,
not.
but you can be dirty if you
can
want to
get a
stop
little-
in.
You get a little cray in there, right? We absolutely love the team over there. It is an excellent way to enhance any relationship, and get educated on a lot of things at the same time.
Right. Yeah,
Your
we are
staff
about
does a great job.
education. Yeah.
How do people find you? And they can order things online too, right?
Yeah, we have thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of products online, but we are at 818 Front Street here in McHenry, or to Route 31 to some people, or Front
Yep.
Street, right by the library or Restore.
Yeah.
Or you can call us 815-385-7399 or
Restore's expanding a little there
sexy.
too, huh?
Yeah, they're buying the building right next door,
Mhm.
which is a good thing. You know, it's good
Who
to
knew
get back to the
secondhand would
community.
be that. Never mind.
Restore.
Restore,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Are they
bought
really?
the building next door.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Who
Yeah.
knew that the profit margins could be that big? Anyway.
So yeah, nonprofit doesn't mean they don't pay
Nonprofit.
themselves.
Right, that's
Of course,
true.
if you looked right there on screen, Uncle Pete saying, join the grounds. This is the most unique show here at 21.6 Net, where we open up to anybody out there listening, watching, or just come in and hang out with us. The door is always open. We'll
Yeah.
find a seat at the table. But if you've got a camera and you've got Wi-Fi or strong internet, jump on. And we'll put you right up here on screen with us. Just click that link and join us. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, Ted Legal, always a good morning to you from,
Morning, Ted.
Ted is an incredible guy, legal legacy business services. And I mean, this guy, I don't know when he sleeps. He just keeps
Maybe
going.
he doesn't. That's what we were just talking.
Right,
We were just talking,
right.
we were just talking about people not sleeping.
Yeah.
That's a subject we can hit on, broach
Yeah.
on a little
Legacy
today.
home and business is
Legacy home
legal
and business.
legacy home.
Legal legacy home.
I'll remember that one time, Ted. All right, so we gotta clear the air a little bit here. We'll talk about a little bit of everything and anything. And we've got about midway through the show, we've got a really cool, exciting announcement that has to do with Mr. Dean here that will kind of roll out, and you will be the first to hear it. So it's gonna
This
be
is exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
great.
So we weren't on last week because I had some things
Yeah.
to take care of. I got a bum knee, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to have some surgery. So,
Yeah.
but I'll be back for sure.
Yeah.
But we were when we left off our last show, we were talking about the economy and everything that's going on. We don't talk about politics here, but the economy and gas prices, and the word price gouging came up. And Kent told us he was going to be going to do a little research on that, figure out what the whole thing behind it is, and kind of school us, if you will, on it, being
Right.
that Kent is the man, the myth, the legend. So, Deke, what did you find out about price gouging?
Yeah,
And-
your pops a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the gas prices and everything, and everybody's very upset about them. And he asked me if I was upset about price gouging. Now, here's what I say. Yeah, Ted says I haven't slept since Wednesday, so I guess you're right. So I am a 100%, and I want everybody to understand, free enterprise and capitalist. I am absolutely 100% behind that. And it is your right as a business owner to set your prices or do what you want. My question to the general public, and Bob, if you're out there already, is what profit margin is considered price gouging?
Right. So that's an awesome question.
Okay.
Right. So right. What percentage is
What-
price gouging? And that's kind of the play back and forth on
Mhm.
it, right? What's considered
Yeah. Good morning, Lisa.
real the word I'm coming up with is kind of what's considered realistic, what's where you're not being completely greedy and over the top. The capitalist society, you can make what you want to make, but
Mhm.
for what's going on right now in the world, I think that's why people are so up in arms as far as this price gouging.
Then you're
quote
not
unquote.
then you don't support free enterprise or capitalists.
No, I do.
Right.
My
No, you
problem is how quickly
Mm.
it rose, and the fact that it's affecting so many lower income families, right, that weren't ready
Mm,
or can't
okay.
afford this quick.
So
quick
let's go back before you get all touchy feely. Let's go back. Let's go back and
I'm not touchy feely.
and let's
Kumbaya.
and let's answer my question.
Okay.
What profit margin is price gouging to you?
There isn't really a number that you could affix to that, right? And that's
So
why
then there is no
right.
price gouging.
Doesn't it? Maybe it depends on what's being gouged, right? So for
Okay.
example, remember that who is that the guy who raised the price of the insulin by however many
Well, when
100%.
like some of those drugs, right? When
Right,
they have it,
like-
Mhm.
they've got
that. I mean, I can be a little more flexible with what I think is price gouging when it comes to something like toys or gas, as opposed to something that someone needs to survive.
Right.
So I think the number would vary depending on what you're talking about.
Right.
So
with the gas is really what brought up price
Sure.
gouging, right? And for me, there is no number, right? So we have the right to put whatever profit we want on it.
Mhm.
And the reason I'm just upset with it, right? And I get it because we've talked about
because
it a
you
bit,
chose to buy a vehicle that has a 400-gallon gas
right,
tank.
right. But not even for I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, obviously it bothers me when I fill it up, but for me, you know me, I'm a people pleaser. I also like to help people have a better life, right? So for me, that really hurts deep down because you see these people that are working, minimum wage jobs and things like that. And this is something that's really affected them. That's they can't spend their money on other things in the community. They have to spend it on gas. They're not
Yeah, they
spending
can't
it
go
on.
buy a dildo at your
They can't
store.
go buy a dildo at my store, right? They can't go to Cannabis and buy some.
We were gonna go. We had
Damn
budgeted
it,
for
honey,
this
you
big-
remember our plans?
Well,
tonight?
it's funny.
we gotta
We had to
buy
buy gas,
right? Right. But it's funny that you say that because since the gas prices went up, there's a noticeable
Can you
drop.
see it? Yeah.
There's
Speaking-
a noticeable drop in
Speaking of dildo,
expendable- yeah.
midterms. are coming up.
midterm. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So Lisa says, I think there is a difference when it's a monopoly and a product that has become a required item to survive, she says.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Well, I think the gas industry, even though there's a couple
Mhm.
different, I think it
Right.
is
So-
somewhat of a monopoly.
So Ted answers it, and thanks Ted for having a backbone and being a man and saying, here's what I think price gouging is, instead of tiptoeing around it like Scott.
Which Scott?
I'm not saying.
No,
Uh,
I'm tiptoeing around
Right.
it. You
Oh
know?
yeah, you answered it like a politician.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he says I would say 100% markup is price gouging.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think it's price gouging. It's 100% markup.
Mhm.
I just think how quickly it raised up. Because there's some products that companies, businesses sell that there are 100% markup on a daily basis that you just don't know.
You still go buy that
Right.
shot of whiskey
Right.
at the Vixen
Right.
downtown.
Yeah.
Right.
My thing is just, and the reason, the quote unquote price gouging is the fact that it went from, it's 100+% that they've
Okay.
brought it, but they brought it on so quickly that it's not even something that you can adjust to.
Okay.
Not that you really can, lower income people aren't going to get more money because gas went up, but it made it so much harder for them, so much quicker, right? We've got so much going on in the world right now. And this is just kind of like another just kick to the teeth for people like that, for everybody, really. I mean, yes, I made the choice to buy a vehicle that has, a 32-gallon gas tank in Kent as well. And
That's right.
we're fortunate enough that we can actually afford
Okay.
to put this stuff in our tanks, but there's a lot of people that can't. My kid, for instance, young, new to the industry. Luckily, he doesn't have to drive to work every day, but he's figured out if he had to drive to work every day, what he'd spend in gas, he'd be
Okay.
basically a wash.
So would you say that as a business owner, a profit margin of minus 22% is a good way to run a business?
Say that one more
Of
time.
minus 22%.
Of minus 22%.
Oh, you're talking about the government?
The profit margin for a business of minus 22%, would you consider that a good way to run a business?
Well, of course, that's a
I
dumb
don't-
question. Of course not. Who
No.
runs their business at negative
Okay.
22%?
So here's what I'm going to say. Mary Shep, good morning, and everybody's
Mary.
come back and hang out at 11 because Mary's back in studio, which is
Uh-oh.
awesome for Living Low Sodium. And Timothy Stewart, good morning.
Yeah, aren't you?
Aren't you glad?
Wait, which Scott aren't you?
Yeah,
Wait,
right.
Scott
All
Dean
right.
or Scott me?
All right. So here's what I want to say. I don't believe that. And the question that was addressed to me was, do you believe in price gouging? I don't believe the gas prices are price gouging. Okay. Because what we hear and what we see, and without digging into books or doing any research, we hear out, oh my gosh, they had a 200% increase over Q1 of last year. So we have to understand something. Gas stations don't make a lot of money. Maybe 2 cents per gallon is what their profit is.
Right.
Okay, so they're trusting that now you go inside
Right, it's the mini mart where they make the
buy
money.
a hot dog that's been rolling on there for a week and a half, right?
Right. That's why they call them rollers.
Rollers.
Because they're rock
Okay.
hard. And
Yeah.
they're going
So,
down the
yeah.
street.
The oil, the companies, oil and gas drilling, so the ones who manufacture it, right? In Q1 of 2021, their profit margin was minus 22%. Okay, so and we loved it. We took all that cheap gas, but their profit margin was minus 22%, which you just said is a horrible way to run a business. Yet none of us were going, you know what? It sucks. These guys are going to go out of business. They should raise their
Wait,
prices.
so you're saying what year was this?
2021.
In 2021, but in 2021, from what I remember, they were still making like 20 billion a quarter.
They
So
ran.
how can they make
they-
20 billion a quarter and run at 22% loss?
Well, isn't that funny? Oh,
Right?
because you heard the billions on which was it, Fox or CNN?
Oh, I don't remember
Was that-
exactly where I heard the profit
Right,
number
but we
from,
didn't-
but
But we didn't go and take a look at their profit sheet, profit and loss, and go,
No.
huh? Right.
Right.
All we heard was what we were told. Interesting.
when it
isn't
wasn't, yeah,
funny?
when something's not hurting you directly, you're not going to dig deeper
Interesting.
into it. So now
Right.
it's hurting us a little bit more directly. So you dig a little bit deeper into it. And
Right.
that's the human nature, right? It's fine. It's not bothering me at this point. It's what I
Right.
expect. But all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, I woke up and it went from 259 to, 399 overnight when when that first thing hit. Now people are going, oh, really? Where did this come from? How do they make that? How
Yeah.
can they gouge us like that? And it's like, well,
So
like you said, is it really gouging?
Here in the first quarter of 2022, gas prices are rising, and they run a profit margin of 22%. Positive. Yet you just said, we have 100% price gouging. So no, I will say they are not price gouging.
This
Right? This is the way
those
the
numbers-
business runs.
There's always a balance.
There is
right,
there is a
eventually,
balance,
Right.
but
It always
that
comes
number
back.
that you threw out to me is obviously you do your research, so it's got to be true. It's on the internet. But so I just don't see how a company that says negative 21% profit margin, right, and still granted says that
Right.
they're making this
So
much
what you
now.
have what you have to understand is from every gallon of gas, the gas tax. So with the raise in prices, the gas tax is in this first half of the year, the U.S. government on their gas tax, because of the raise in prices, have made over $25 trillion. All we're trying to do is balance out the economy where we had shoveled a bunch of fake money into the economy. And
Right.
Tune into Innovative Strategies on Wednesday morning. Bill Haase can tell you more about this than I can. All I'm saying is there are oil refineries and people that produce the oil and that's what we get the price per barrel. But
Right.
then there are the people who sell gas that is different, right? Now, the idea is too, you've heard the sitting president come out and say, hey, you got to lower the prices. I'm trying to put a freeze on the gas tax. Right now, this is all a political ploy. We understand that. Everything is wonderful. But the bottom line is my answer to you, Bob, is absolutely 100%. They are not price gouging, and I don't think they are. Here's the deal. everything in the world changes. The production of milk. Guess what I just heard this morning as I was coming in is that this high heat in the southeast, right over 100, are making the cows produce less milk.
Oh,
Now what's going to happen?
not the milk.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So trust me when I say
opportunities are
prices
being
are gonna go
taken.
up.
Opportunities are being taken when they can see that or push it on us, right?
So
Are the
here's
cows really
here's
producing
the
less
other thing
milk?
that I will say, and I'll leave it here, and I'll drop the mic. I'll leave it there, and we can move on to something different. Is this socialism bad? Socialism bad. Socialism bad. Y'all been living in it. Look at how low the prices have been, and now you're like, hey, where's the government? Why isn't the government bailing us out? What's happening? Yep. Guess what, folks? Which side of the mouth are you eating out of? Because y'all sound the same. Period. Drop the mic. Done. Let's see what Lisa has to say. All right. To me, as always, it's a moral issue, as always, as well. Like meditation, I can get a narcotic prescription for $9, but my inhaler to live is $375. People's insulin to live is hundreds a month. It's price based on what will be paid, not a standard percentage. Again,
What you're willing to
rewind. Listen to my last comment.
Right.
Again. Supply and demand, free market, free
Right.
enterprise.
Right.
It is what it is, right? And when it's demand, right? When you got the supply, but the demand is you will die, guess what?
Right.
That price goes up.
Yeah. Right. Well, and so going back to the capitalism thing, any business owner, right? We try to find that fine line to where it's a reasonable profit where your customer can still get the product that they want at a reasonable price and you still make money so you can obviously keep your doors open, give back to the community if that's one of the things that you do as a business owner. And what you're saying, Ted says 100%. What is considered price gouging? It might not be because some products you might get super cheap because you're buying them from China. But I think the big thing that really's got everyone up in arms is how quickly it's escalated. It's not that it's not due. It's not that it's not right. It's how quickly it got there.
Can I tell you what I do like about this though? And this kind of illustrates the balance a little bit. Do you remember when everyone was buying the Hummers?
Yeah.
Remember that was the hot thing.
So
honey, I never bought a Hummer. I never went and saw her. I don't know her name.
So you drive down the road, you get to a stoplight, the Hummer would pull up and look at you like, I have a Hummer. You're like, oh man.
I just paid.
Well,
for
now
a
I
Hummer.
love it because now you pull up to that same stoplight and the guy's in his Hummer. He looks at him, he's like, I've got a Hummer.
I've got a Tesla.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of like how that swung around.
Right. Well, okay. So Mary says it's not gouging. If one station stacked their prices because they were the only station in miles, then they are gouging. But prices up as a whole is not. So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, it's industry wide, but I mean, gas industry to me is a monopoly. Even though there's a couple different companies, they're controlling the price.
And Scott, you know this too. I mean, so I'm kind of the business I'm in is similar to the gas station. They want people to come in and buy the chips and the drinks.
Right.
So I mean, the movie tickets you don't make a whole lot of money on. So
no, not at all. You know that,
right?
Yeah.
So we know that.
When you're paying, well, now it's what is it, 65% for the studios?
So I'm hoping to sell popcorn. Well, popcorn's cheap. So I have to find out, okay, where is that line where...
So yeah, people knew that price gouging at the movie theater because what do you pay for?
Totally
what does a bucket of popcorn cost you? Like 20 cents and you charge $8?
Right. No, it's very expensive, people. So you're getting a heck of a deal stuff.
They know that's why they sneak it in their pockets, man.
Tomorrow it'll be $15 a box.
So that's right. No.
Yeah.
Lisa says a small business owner, you have to, Scott. They will drive up the road. The corporate field monopoly is different. Nope. Let me help everybody.
Look at Tim Stewart. What the hell is Tim?
No, that's Mary Shep said. Looks like Scott Dean's watching a tennis match. And that's what Tim
is his head flipping back and forth? I didn't get that one.
So here, and
it is a tennis match between us.
And let me help with this.
Kent's such a good guy.
Economics has nothing to do with your emotions.
You saying Reaganomics?
Economics has nothing to do with your emotions. There. You purchasing things, and we've been taught, oh, well, that's a good purchase or that's no. Listen, running a business, economics has nothing to do with your emotions. If I worried about everybody's emotions, guess what? I'd be out of business.
You know what? I'm sold. I want to pay more for gas now. I'm with.
Yes.
I want to. Gas is too cheap right now.
Right.
I want to gouge more.
That's it. Right? You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Right. No, I mean your argument is very valid.
It's not an argument.
Well,
I'm
okay,
just
your
facts. They're
your
facts. Why are
facts, your
facts
facts,
arguments
sir,
now,
fact
Scott?
finder,
Boy, you
are
have
very-
really fallen.
yeah, understandable, right? And they do make sense. What I'm
Mhm.
trying to explain, what I'm trying to bring out is for the people that are like me, that might be ignorant in that respect, that don't see it in that light.
Okay.
Right. As far
But
as
isn't
from a
there always
business-
gonna they'll always be that.
Okay,
There'll always
so-
be that segment of people who
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. But
So
that's, I mean, that's the big
walk
ticket.
I walk
Mhm.
in I walk into Reese's Bakery and Portique.
Hey, 1313 Riverside Drive. We sell you
and
doggy bones.
because of inflation and economics, I come into your store and I get this bag of dog food and I go, you know what? I think I feel that the prices went up just a little too fast here, Scott. So
We get that every day.
So I want to buy this for at least $6 less because I think it went up too fast. And what do you say?
We actually, it's funny.
Sure,
It's
sure.
fun. No,
we'll give it to you.
well,
for
you know
$6
what's funny is we
less.
tell people, because that's a good point, because it has gone up. Our costs as well. Your costs go up too, right? What we're paying for it, so we have to push that or pass that on to our consumers, right?
Oh, you don't
So-
have to.
If I want to keep my doors open and being a smart
Oh.
business, but I'm trying
But
to
we
find,
bought
right,
the gas at $1.25
but I'm trying-
when they were losing money.
I'm trying to find that comfortable balance, right, between what I'm paying for and what they're getting it for, so I can keep them as a customer and not, go out of business. And that's, like I said, the gas prices make sense. It's just my thing is how quickly it went up. It should be, because gas has been what price for how long, right? I mean, so, and everything else has gone up. Gas has stayed low, but now it's like, boom, everything is kind of hit at once. And I think that's one of the big things that as a society, people are having issues with. It's not just gas, but gas is necessary to go buy that food for your family, to take your kid to soccer, to take your kid to the movies, to take your kid wherever.
Ladies
So
and gentlemen,
everything is just escalated to such a big point, or a much bigger number, so much faster. And pay scale
ladies and
has
gentlemen,
not jumped as quickly, other than minimum wage, which,
listen to what I'm saying. Start saving your pennies, because your heating bill this year
oh
is
Jesus,
going to go up.
Mhm.
You
did
think
you
it's
really
bad?
have to throw that at
You
me?
think it's bad now? Got nothing to do with your car. Anyway, look
I think-
over here. Look what's happening.
I know.
over
I think
here.
I need to move in with you.
That's all that I'm saying
Right.
is you have to take
Well,
emotions.
it's gonna
You
follow.
have to take emotions out of economics.
Right.
This is a free enterprise capitalist society. You don't like it, move somewhere where it's not a free enterprise and capitalist society.
Right.
Simple as that.
Yep.
Right.
So
Nate,
Kent
you're
and I
right.
don't normally agree,
Nate-
but I'm gonna agree with him
Nate,
on that one.
Nate, you're right. You're absolutely right. You can't pull a boat or a trailer with a Chevette, a little four.
Yeah, you can. It just don't go very
Right?
fast.
You ain't gonna go very fast. The government has affected it by forcing us to now bargain outside with others more by lowering our own home ability to supply. Well, and there's a lot of fallacy in that too, and we can do that for a different show, especially with pipelines and whatnot that are in America, and a lot of people
Right.
don't understand what that certain pipeline that a lot of people fight over actually pumps and is still operable. Anyway,
All right, Bob is
that's the
awake.
thing.
Good morning, Pops.
price gouging occurs when a seller increases the price of goods, services, or commodities to a level much higher than is considered reasonable or fair. Usually, this event occurs after a demand or supply shock. The average net profit margin for oil and gas production was 4.7 in 2021 and 31.3% in quarter 4 of 2021. Right. And I love how you spin that, Bob, because in the first quarter, it was a minus 22%, right? So when we get that production for the year of 4.7, you neglected to say that in quarter 1, it was minus 22%. And in quarter 2, it was minus 31%.
See, I really actually want to
Okay.
look at that a little bit more. 'cause I
So
just don't see-
that's the spin that we say to make us feel good.
Right.
Right.
and if that's true, and that's truly the case, I mean, negative 21%. I don't see it with the
Right.
amount.
And
Right. So
what we had already attributed is you're saying price gouging considered reasonable or fair to who?
well, right. Well, and that's
To
and
who?
right, and that's a subjective
Right.
comment, right? Like what's reasonable. And I think, like I said, my thing is with, and I think everyone else's is, it's how quickly it happened. It's, you know, and you have no choice, right? So you paid $2.50 yesterday. Now you're at $6. Dollars,
Yeah.
You can't control it, but the way it happens and how quickly it happens is you have no other way to feel than, oh my God, they're screwing me, right? If you take the time, which a lot of people don't take their time to look at things and actually investigate it, right, and look at it and see what it was, and if their profits were really negative 21%, and then it comes up. I mean, things do ebb and flow in a business, but they don't see that. And you know me, I didn't see it. And I look at it, and I look to people like you and other people. That's why I question everything. And I always ask people all kinds of crazy questions because I don't know. So now I know, but it doesn't make sense to the general public, right? So for someone to go out there and go, what the fuck is happening when I paid $2.59 last week and now we're at $4 a gallon? I'm getting screwed. Well, they don't know. They don't have all the information. Doesn't make it any easier, right?
You're not getting screwed. You're not.
No?
You're not getting screwed.
All right. You're getting the short end of the stick?
No. How?
Because now they don't have any extra money to go spend money at Scott Dean's place, which, by the way, guys, is McHenry Outdoor Theater.
So because
visit them, support them.
So because of your choices on the vehicle that you purchased,
This isn't about me.
I understand.
Right,
I'm saying anybody.
Okay.
This is general.
Right.
They bought a specific.
Right.
They knew that there's oil. Hey, guess what? It doesn't cost $100 for an oil change if you do it your damn self.
Right.
But
getting close.
But if I drive up over there to the oil change, it costs me $100. And you know what? Have I ever gone, God damn? No, I still go get my oil change, don't I? Right? I mean, we used to do it. The three of us used to do it in our backyard. You get the oil pan under there.
It doesn't pay to do it anymore. Doesn't
right?
It takes the
you
amount of time.
You can't get to it now.
Well, you can, but so I mean, but and that thing.
So that's all I'm saying. Now, because of our quote unquote poor choices, I decided to get a big Cadillac because I wanted the luxury.
Well,
I'm like, I don't even like the luxury anymore because it costs $200 to fill my big Cadillac. When I used to drive around, like you said, hey, look at my Hummer, look at me.
And now you're like, oh,
right? Shit. And now I'm like, Well, and it is not a push. Let me help you understand. It is not a push to get electric vehicles.
He was reading my mind. Oh my God, that's where I was coming up. Because
everybody, not a government ploy.
You don't think so?
No.
Look at how many vehicles are. I just was at Ford the other day, and they were talking about how they are just literally ramming it down.
Let me ask you a question. As a government, and you've made in this first half of the year $3 trillion in gas tax. Why would you want people to go to electric?
Because of what they're going to get from the manufacturing, and that they have stock.
Not going to match that number.
Look at all if you follow some of these politicians and how much stock they have in some of these electric vehicle companies. Not gonna match that number. Okay, what's other than question everything? What is one of my famous statements that I always stick by when you're looking at something that's going on, like in big business?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for herpes. That shit follows you home.
No,
is that it? No.
Right. No. So this is the one. Follow the money. Right. It's always about follow the money.
Yeah.
And we can jump off this topic real quickly, but
it ain't gonna happen. They don't.
It actually, if you look at the economics of it. It actually, electric vehicles actually cost more in the long run to our economy and to our
carbon footprint.
The carbon footprint, yes, right? Does. Because of how much it costs to manufacture those batteries, how much it costs per charge on your car through diesel fuel, and then not to mention when that battery goes bad, it's not recyclable. Yeah. So where does that go? Right up your ass is where it goes. And then who pays for that? Our kids, our grandkids. You, us three as old farts, you know what I mean? Right. We've got what? We're all you're same age, right? Scott, 50s,
25, but I look
25.
A lot of years.
Okay, so what do we figure? What do we figure we got? Luckily left, 30 years left, maybe.
I'm gonna live to 100.
I didn't want to start my Friday with
I'm gonna live to be 100.
Existential crisis.
When I'm 75, then I'll hit my midlife crisis.
I just can't wait till they figure out how they can propel your car through methane gas. So you sit on your car, you're in your driver's seat, you fart, and the car will go farther. I'm inventing that, people. I do have a non-disclosure agreement on that, please.
Derek Bear says electric is the best. No, Derek, well, just because you drive one of those little yuppie vehicles.
Actually, there's a really good movie about that called "Who Killed the Electric Car."
Yeah.
It's a documentary.
Yeah. Electric. I mean,
Derek Bear does his best
Derek
every day
Bear,
too.
yeah. Derek drives an electric car, but
all
he's
right.
got more gas-powered
So
motorcycles.
it's we're at the top of the hour. We said at the top of the hour we're gonna throw out an announcement here. So we're going to
hold on.
Yeah. So we've got Scott here because
Not me, Scott. The other Scott.
yeah,
If you're
Scott
watching,
because on July the 13th at exactly 6 p.m.
Yes.
You're going to tune in right here for the new show called The Slate Real Talk with Scott Dean.
But the cool REEL.
REEL.
So if you guys the play on words there, the slate and the real is he's going to be talking about basically the movie industry, right?
Everything
Movie
movies,
industry.
movies,
Hopefully, we're going to get
yeah.
people like Angelina Jolie in here. Maybe Brad Pitt at the same time. We can help, like
Well,
Mr. and
cool.
Mrs. Smith. They can go
I
back
don't know if
at
that
it.
would be as much back and forth as this was. But no, I don't want to.
That's what makes our show so awesome and unique.
We are absolutely fired up for this show. I think it's going to be cool.
That's a show on TV already. You can't use that word. Fired up.
It is.
Fired up garage.
I said I'm fired up.
Oh shit!
No. I mean, this is going to be.
I thought you smelled my fart.
This is going to be a really, really cool show. And the premise of the show is what?
It's really talking everything movies, movie industry, movies themselves. Like Kent, you and I were talking about. There's just something cool about the fact that you can go to a movie theater and sit there with a bunch of strangers, share a moment. Walk out still strangers, but you have this communal experience.
I don't know. I've never shared a moment in a movie theater other than with my girlfriend.
We'll come to the drive-in. Yeah. Oh, right there.
Yeah. No, you sit there, y'all laugh. You got 20 strangers, 50 strangers.
And there's I think talking about everything from the beginning of where production happens, or even a movie's pitched to where it arrives at a movie theater.
I don't think a lot of people understand what really happened.
How nuts did this did the world go? Not just the United States. When Maverick came out 30 years later, right?
Right.
That's all people talked about for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just
and you know what? It was actually a really good movie.
It really was.
And so I watched the original. What? You said you're gay?
It's dumb.
That is politically incorrect.
I haven't
sir.
You know what
it.
though?
Yeah.
I think the reason it succeeded was because it was dumb. It was what everybody's been wanting, which was big, dumb fun in the summer.
Right, it was a complete follow-up to what they left off before, and it's what for me. For me, generally, movies are just a release, a place for me just to shut my brain off and have mindless watching. But that one wasn't mindless. I actually got into it. Like when you watch Rocky or Maverick. I mean, you
so how much did you pay to go see that movie?
What did I pay to go see it? It was. I don't know. We went to Fox Lake. It's like, what is it? $12?
$12 a ticket. And back in 1986, it was $1.25.
Not even.
They're price gouging.
They are price gouging.
But you still went?
Yeah. You know why? Because my wife said I had to go.
Don't give me that.
I'm married. I go. Yeah. She said I got to go. I go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're married too. If Alice says you got to go, you go. All right, I'll go.
No, Alice would be like, I'm going whether you want to or not.
Well, if you want to sleep in the bed with me tonight, Kent, you're going to take me to the movies.
Right?
No, honey, sorry, I am going to the new studios.
Right. So we're fired up, and trust me, this you got to tune in because half of Scott Dean's monologue is just movie quotes. This guy knows it's part of your vernacular.
You can't handle the truth.
I'm kind of proud of the fact that I have no original thoughts. Like everything, I say something clever, and I'm like, that sounded good. I'm like, oh wait, that was
I have no original thought. Are you a married man? That's why you have no original thoughts.
But this is the beauty of it. So I got married. My wife, we've talked about this. My wife is Bulgarian, so she doesn't really have a good concept of the like the pop culture.
Right.
So I can say these
Does
movie
she speak
quotes
American?
She does, but she doesn't know the she doesn't speak
gets that.
She doesn't speak pop culture. So like if I came to you and said, "Yo, Adrian, what movie is that from?" It's from Rocky.
Right.
So I can go around the house and say these like really good quotes, and she thinks that I'm a genius because she's like, "Oh, you came up with that?"
I was gonna say,
she has no idea that it came from a movie.
Does she speak wife talk? Honey, I need some money.
Oh, in multiple languages.
That's right.
You can't handle the truth.
So we are jacked. I mean, it's going to be a cool show. And you're going to have great guests. You're going to have producers. You're going to have, movie stars, actors, starving actors.
Oh, that means Kent and I are going to be movie
It's going to be a blast. And it is a show. I think it's going to go viral. It's going to be
awesome.
Really cool.
It's something interesting to really, and I can't wait for the show to start. I'm kind of fired up too. But as you know, obviously, Scott was part of the downtown movie theater, and I never was into it. And
Isn't that the one that you guys knocked over?
that we closed down?
Yeah.
Dude, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
But that's the other thing.
When we really got deep into it on what it really cost, I think people don't even realize
It's crazy
how much it actually costs to actually just get the movie.
All they want to know is, are they being price gouged?
Just to get
they
the
don't
movie.
care if you make money.
Screw you.
Yeah,
Shut
I
up,
don't
Kent.
want that.
Nope, done. But I mean, it went up to. So you pay. People don't know people don't realize. But when you're as a movie theater owner, you pay a percentage of every ticket you sell, right? Back to the studio. You pay a small amount to buy the movie, but they went to, what are they at? 60,
I don't care.
65%
I don't think it's fair and reasonable.
Kent, go home. I'm done talking to you today, sir.
And that's what the studios do. That's why I think the timing of the show is perfect, because movies have come back. Maverick really was. Right. I think we'll look back in time and say Maverick was one of the movies that
started it back over.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're right. The movie studios they take at the drive-in. It's a whole different story, because now I have one screen, two movies, two different studios.
Right.
So I say, okay, I want to get Doctor Strange, right? The big movie this summer. So I get Doctor Strange. Disney says, okay, we want 65%. I'm like, all right. Well, I have to get another movie, and they're going to want to cut two on the same screen.
Right.
Disney's like, well, figure it out.
Yeah.
It's your business. You figure it out. If you want Doctor Strange, we'll give it to you, but it's 65%. You figure the rest out. So I'm like, all right, give it to me. And so I go over to Warner Brothers and I negotiate for the second feature. Well, they want like 40%. I'm like, all right, well, that's 105% of my box office. So,
but it's not. It's 40%. I guess you get both.
Yes.
You're paying for one
40 and 65.
Right?
I'm like, I'm still in this equation. I want some.
Yes, so you really need to sell all
you got
that
to
extra
negotiate,
popcorn.
and you got to,
that's something we can definitely discuss when that show takes off.
So tune in. It's coming July 13th. It's going to be awesome. If you are a movie buff or you just love the industry, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
trust
I can't
me.
wait.
And you're talking about things like Netflix and how this is affected, and Prime Video now, and how movies are now being
they're going streaming, and they're going straight movies are streaming right away.
Well, and that was the thing last year. So last year we come out of COVID, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go, new
ready
movies,
to roll.
but you could stream them at home at the same time.
That's actually that.
Now it's over.
Right when they announced that, that's when we decided we're closing the theater.
It's gonna be cool.
So
all right, let's get back into this, and we're excited. So more to come. We'll be putting that out there. You'll probably see Scott Dane on a couple other shows promoting it as well. But we're excited. So Ted says the thing I go back to is something Kent brought up, and that's all we need from that one. All right. No,
what Kent brought up.
When price increases decide when people live or die, based on treatments for health issues being too high to afford, partially because of gas prices, there is a problem in this country, and we are close to that, folks. And the gas prices are, for the most part, the start of those increases. Well, let's hold on just a second there, because for the last 20 years, all I've heard in America is, hey, healthcare should be free. All the prices on healthcare are too high. Oh, hey, everybody wants free shit. Hey, your higher education should be free. Right. So I don't think it's the gas prices are on the tail end of this. Gas prices have stayed low.
Insurance is a whole nother year's worth of shows.
Right.
I mean, one thing, and I'll jump off of this real quickly, but if you really look, people, and Ted bringing that up, what is the one thing that you see the most being built these days? If you used to, like in the southern states, you see churches and liquor stores, right, and banks. What are you seeing popping up now? What's the most popular thing you see popping up?
Old folks homes.
Old folks homes.
Yep. Long-term stays.
Long-term stays and
rehab centers,
hospitals, and like immediate care centers, like more medical, like because our population as a whole is sicker than you could ever imagine, right? And if you really look at it, not that I'm a skinny guy by any means, but if you really look at our population, right, our people, it's sad. It really is. We are so overweight and so obese that medical, I mean, that's the next thing. It's raising so quick. I mean, trying to get insurance is crazy if you're trying to self-insure.
And Bob said, hey, can't tell me, try to explain to me what spin. The spin was, you said, hey, in 2021, the profit was 4.7%. And in the fourth quarter, the profit was 31.3. A business model says, hey, to my shareholders, I have to deliver what? A profit.
Right.
They are not going to be happy with a 4.7, let alone a negative for the year.
Right.
So guess what? Things happen. 10% of the oil that we can produce got shut down because of the war. That's fine. Guess what? There are some other outlying, if you read about, there's some other outlying things. So your spin was, hey, it was 4.7, trying to make a gap between, they jacked it up to 31.3% profit margin, right? They had to. You running a business, they're go out of business. Okay, let's just say this. They go out of business because you don't want them to price gouge. Now what do? We walk everywhere?
Right. Well,
or is it the government that steps in and now we're subservient to the government?
Now you start riding buses.
I'm just saying, that was the spin. Right. You neglected to show that for the first 2 quarters, they ran a massive, massive, massive decrease.
Right.
That's all.
So with the gas, obviously, that's something that you can forego to a certain point, right? You don't have to drive every day. You can figure out a way, especially now with people being at work remotely. The medical industry, which is the next one, which is, well, it's always been increasing, and that's the hardest one for people, right? Then a lot of people don't pay attention. But like I was saying, look on there's new buildings going up everywhere because we're so sickly. We can't control that. And these medicine prices that are going up, you can't control. A lot of these people can't live without that. I can live without driving my tank of a truck, right?
So who's making the money?
Well, who's making the money in which? In the gas or in the medical?
No, in the medical. You're in the medical industry now. Who's making the money?
There's a couple different avenues. The insurance company, obviously, for one, right? But also, surprisingly, the doctors don't make as much as people think they do.
No, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, their insurance rates are crazy, right? And back in the day, they used to get a lot of kickbacks from the manufacturers, right? So you push my drug, I'll give you XXX.
Doesn't happen.
So, but here we go. My comments, question everything, and follow the money. Who's making the money? The insurance companies. And the insurance companies don't want to pay out. Now, if you want to look at price gouging, if you want to bring that back up, we could pull that industry back up. We could pull that whole scenario up. And that's what would really get people in arms, right?
Because no, it doesn't. Otherwise, we'd be talking about it, Scott.
Well, we can, and I am.
You're trying to bring it up now. We're talking about gas prices. That's the only
thing. No, we got off gas prices. I'm saying you're talking price gouging.
Right. That's all that's the
only
only
thing coming across the table at you, sir.
It's the only thing
not while I'm here.
Yeah. So that's a different story. Let me tell you
Shana,
something, brother.
Good morning. Shana says many are seeing a correlation between the push to electric and the ability to disable those vehicles or phones or utilities remotely. Speaking of movies, yeah, no, there is that, and we can theorize on a lot of things, but the bottom line is. Any car that you've bought probably since 2016 can be shut down by anybody.
You know what we were talking about yesterday.
Also have GPS.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, which I thought was really cool, but also really freaking scary. The one beautiful thing about an electric car, right, and the fact that they do kind of drive themselves is you stop paying your money. Oh, just punch it in. That car's going to start itself up, drive itself back to the, back, because now you don't need repossessors. Right. Because the car's going to drive itself back. You can lock yourself out on it. So good, bad. You know what I mean? There's always a weight on both sides. But,
right.
All right. I'm going to read this one from Bob.
Yeah.
All right. So Bob says, how much profit did the oil industry make in 2020? Stat in 2020. Statistics probably in 2020 due to COVID demand disruptions. Oil prices dropped further to average of $39 a barrel and profits turned to $61 billion in losses. Which most people don't know, right? That's probably part of the 21%, right? Because there is an ebb and flow in business, all right? However, as demand returned in 2021, prices rose to $68 and profits surged to $40 billion.
Balance.
Okay. Well, there's an ebb and a flow, right? And like I said, they have every right to make all that money. My thing is, once again, I'm going back to it, is how quickly it happened. Should the gas prices be at $6 a gallon with the way the world is and how everything kind of matches together and what you're paying? Probably. Should it have gone up $3 in 3 months?
When you're not driving,
that's hard. That's hard for people to pocket. Can you budget for that?
So we go to simple again. Go back to Economics 101: supply and demand. Had a lot of supply.
I want to go.
Not much demand.
I want to go back to
now
lockdown.
We have. A lot of demand.
I want to go back to lockdown. People were spending a lot more money on adult toys at Fantasy Factory. They could walk to Fantasy Factory. We will pick you up at Fantasy Factory. If gas prices are too much for you guys, folks, call us. We'll come pick you up, let you shop in.
Thank God those toys aren't gas powered, right?
Listen,
they're battery powered.
So the question was asked. I said I would look at it and research, and my answer is no. They are not price gouging.
Based on all the information, it is not price gouging. And I agree with that. I totally agree with it. Like
Right.
I said, and then we're gonna get off this because I'll go back and forth all day
No,
long.
yeah, we know.
It's just
You switch more than a politician.
I was just gonna say the
Flip-flop.
waffle. I
That's
should
it.
be a
You
politician,
should.
right? I could lie to you and then just go home, make a ton of money. But it's just how quickly it happened. That's it. End of story. So summer is officially here, right? So vacation season, people getting out, trying to enjoy themselves with family. Hopefully this whole thing doesn't put a huge damper on that, because that's going to potentially affect Scott's business, potentially affect my businesses, right? If they've got to spend twice as much to fill their car with gas, they might not buy that, whatever it is, $8 box of popcorn. They're going to sneak in their own Jiffy Pop that they popped at home in a bag, right?
They've been doing that since movie theaters were made.
They were doing that.
I did it in my own. I did it in my own theater.
Abraham was.
I
doing
did
that
it.
back in the
You
day.
know what's funny is I did that in our theater, even though I own the place. I still brought it.
Bring in your
I
own
still brought in
popcorn.
my own candy, and I looked at the other investors. I'm like, I brought in my own shit. If that's
Listen,
okay,
Right.
you guys are too damn expensive.
Everything has been set up to be just what it is, and we've seen it time and we've seen it time again.
Right.
The issue is now we have to look at things. We were in a spend. We talked a little bit about this in the green room, and now we have the ability, and with higher interest rates on things, now we have the capability to save. We have to make up the deficit that we have run.
So wait, how
right?
come we can save if everything's gone up?
Because you have new vehicles now. Vehicles, when I say that, that have higher interest rates.
Vehicles, financial vehicles.
Financial.
Oh,
vehicles,
okay. When you
right.
say
and again,
new vehicle,
tune
I'm like,
into Innovative Strategies on
yeah,
Wednesday.
Bill
with
can
Bill
really.
Hussey.
It's a
He can
great
talk to
freaking
you
show.
about that.
That's a great.
But
show.
the idea is
It's 9 o'clock Wednesdays.
The idea is we as consumers. We took a class in high school maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Hey, I'm not that old.
economics, and we don't know.
They don't give you those classes,
right? But the bottom line is this. This is the way you have to take out your emotional feelings when it comes to it. Every time that I fill up my big V8, I've got a 5.7 V8. It's got a 20-gallon tank or whatever.
It's a sissy tank.
Whatever, right? So when I put money into it, I go, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do, which will blow your stinking minds. I'm filling that up, and I go, I am grateful that I have the ability to put gas in my car. I am grateful that I have a car that gets me from A to B.
Boom!
I am grateful that I don't have a payment on this big truck.
Right.
There's a lot of things that
so
I'm
you're
grateful
looking,
for.
right, and you're looking.
So instead of sitting there crying, going, "Oh, gas prices are too high," hey, you know what? I could go out and buy a $100,000 electric car and have a payment the size of my mortgage on a stupid car that's depreciated.
And that's the one beautiful thing one of the beautiful things that I do love about you, that I wish more people could actually view things that way, right? So, and I told you, I made that post when it cost me $200 to fill up my truck.
Oh, yes, you did.
I was freaking livid, right? But I also, I said, oh, this shit's got to stop. And then my caption below said, but at least, thank God, I'm able to afford this. I can do that. That's a good thing. And trying to look at it from a positive standpoint. Hey, the fact that you do have a job, the fact that you can put gas in your tank, right? And the fact that hopefully you're somewhat healthy, but a lot of people don't look at it these days, especially with social media and everything. And, it's keeping everybody up in arms and looking at all the negative, right? There is some positive to this, right? But a lot of people don't see it.
There's always positive.
There is, but most people don't see that. What 99% of the people that you probably talk to when something happens, right, such as the gas prices that we're talking about, right? 99% of them are what? Pissed off. They're negative. They don't, so what's the first thing so let me ask you this. What would be the first?
We blame the sitting president.
Right. What? No, he's not sitting. He's standing. He's running. He's getting ready to run.
Actually,
away
you know
from
what?
everybody.
Actually, they just banned assault bicycles.
Right?
Because that bicycle assaulted the president.
Right. So as the show, our show here, right? And as the company DDOE 2169 as a daily dose of encouragement.
That's right.
And the reason that we started this show, and we've kind of jumped a little bit away from it though, is to have a daily dose of encouragement, right? To show people,
This isn't
encouraging saying that we're pissed off about gas prices.
Well, sure, it is.
What I want to get, I'm trying to bring out to is the fact that we're trying to show people and say, hey, what is the positive? How can we look at this from a different mindset? Because the mindset in our country right now is very negative.
No, not really. The beautiful thing is we can have a heated conversation as to love on each other. That's the wonderful. That's your daily dose of encouragement.
Right.
I love your pops. Right.
Right.
And if he and I sat down over a cup of coffee, I'd learn a lot from him.
Right.
Right.
No, but right.
I stand toe to toe with him.
Right.
But I'd learn a lot from him. And I love
and
that.
that's what's great. But that you're not. That's not the typical interaction between people, right?
Not
Most
right
people,
now.
right?
No.
Well, right, and that sucks. That's horrible. So you and I are very much alike.
Yeah.
Right. Very much alike. But when we're on here, we have different views, and you can throw your view at me, and I may think you're nuts, but it makes me look at things differently, right? And go, well, okay, well, wait a minute, he's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Or no, he's wrong. I still believe in what I'm saying, but the whole premise behind 216 and DDOE is to try to make people look at things, to have a little bit more information and to look at things from a little bit more positive.
Yeah, I mean, life
a little bit more positive.
Life is
thing.
not all roses and unicorn
life is a
rainbow
lot-
poop.
right,
But we
well,
want
life
you to
is a
find
lot
the
tough,
unicorn
right,
rainbow
right,
poop.
right.
They're
Life
under there somewhere.
life is tough, right?
Yeah.
It's the challenge and the secret, I guess, to being successful. Success is different to everybody, right? And we've talked about that. But to having a successful life or a good life is to realize that, you need to look at things and to appreciate the little things and the small things and understand that life is going to be tough, but the fact that you're able to navigate through it and you hopefully have some type of support behind you. And we're here for anybody, anytime, guys. You can call us, stop into the store or to the show, into the studio if you have questions or just need to talk to somebody, because that's what we're all about, is trying to help people one day at a time, one person at a time, trying to make their life a little bit different. What's the old saying? It takes a village to raise a kid, right? It takes a village.
It sure does, Mrs. Clinton.
Yeah. Is that who said that?
Yes.
She said that? Oh, that crazy bitch. Sorry, guys. I'll take that back. But you know what? It's about helping people. It's about trying to help people see things in a different light. And that's where, when you and I get into it, I see things in a different light, right? And I'm hoping that I kind of do the same for you, and to a certain point.
Oh yeah, always.
Because there's not just one way and not one way to look at life, right? It's looking at it and going, oh, okay. Because somebody that I just list, like, for instance, this is kind of digressing or moving a little bit. I was listening to the radio this morning. They were just talking about like these kids. They have a program that I'm going to be donating to, that Star 105 has, that they're taking inner city kids out and they're taking them camping, like out in Dixon or something like that, far out. And these kids are just like, holy cow, they don't know. Like, this is amazing. They don't hear gunshots.
Haven't they watched Friday the 13th? They were going out to Camp Crystal Lake.
This is how
These
every
kids,
morning starts.
Yeah, right. But these kids, they don't realize, right? But because of their environment,
Kids,
what they're
get on the
trapped
bus.
in,
Yeah,
right?
we're going to a field.
But because
The
of
children of the
right,
corn.
Right.
but because of their environment and how they are brought up, and they don't have that support to say, oh my God, I can actually sleep through the night and not hear gunshots. It's like,
and of course,
it's a different world.
And of course, you can find out more about those horror movies on the Slate Real Talk.
Or we have some horror movies too over at Fantasy Factory.
Oh,
wait, not horrors. Horror movies.
Yeah.
Sorry, not horror.
But Shayna says, if you can't change it, change your perspective. You have to. You have to constantly be changing your lens and switching your microscope.
Lisa has changing
and digging into things.
Lisa's changing your perspective.
Always,
Right?
yeah. I mean, that you have to.
You can't get locked into one train of thought. You have to be open to listening to other people and evaluating, what they're saying, and take it, and and investigate it a little bit. A lot of people these days, it is. They don't think twice about it and they don't move forward. Right.
And I'll butcher this, but here's what I'll say. People.
Coffee Deke?
Yeah, you can film me. Here's what I'll say is
What? Sorry.
President Reagan was on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And I'm going to butcher this, but he's, people are looking for the government to bail them out. And he says, the real issue is the government's the problem. And folks, I want to tell you that that's a great quote, and you have to really think about that, right? I got a good friend who,
you have friends.
He and I were going to get together, and they're vacationing for the 4th of July over in Britain. And I go, well, that's interesting. Nothing like going over and celebrating our independence
in Britain.
Right.
Isn't that who we seceded from? Isn't that who we tried to get away from?
So it's funny, but it brings you back to that this great nation was formed on the back of people who wanted to be free, who didn't want to be under that strict of a rule. Now, the odd thing is, as human beings, right, as human beings, we want our freedom, but then we need to put something in place to structure our freedom.
Yeah.
And now we get mad at the things that we've done to structure our freedom.
Yeah.
And so it's a big, ugly, cyclical runaround, which is weird. But the bottom line is, if you go back to pioneer days or whatever, everybody, oh, you're going to raise a barn? Okay, we're heading over to the Dean's house. We're going to raise a barn this today.
I
you
love.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a village raises a person. It was just that, hey, I'm going to be a good human being and lend you a hand.
Right.
Okay. Here's
I love
what
that
I
type
want
of
you to think about.
mentality.
Now I'm going to bother a lot of people. How many times do you see somebody on the side of the road stranded, and you just fly by and go, maybe I should have stopped?
Yeah.
And that's happening a lot more these days because people back in the day, they didn't have a cell phone, so you didn't call,
Right.
They couldn't call. But so I still will stop, and not that I don't know how this will be taken, but I generally won't stop for a younger person, right? I will stop for older people, right?
Well, that's great.
Well, so like if an older person's got a flat tire, I will stop. If a
It
younger person
looks like that person's dying, but they're 20.
Right.
no, but if a younger
I gotta go pay.
if a younger person's got a
I
flat
just put
tire,
$200 in my
I'm going to
gas
let
tank.
them figure it out, right? They're young, they're capable, they probably got a phone, they probably got 20,000 followers on their Snapchat, right? But the older person, I'll stop, I'll pull over, ask them if they need anything. Most of the time they say no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to get back to that world.
Shayna says,
I want to get back to that
We're
world
running out
bad.
of time, but Shayna says, at what point do you give up on sharing with someone that wants to stay in their personal chaos? I don't know if you ever do, but you don't necessarily have to get in the ring and fight with them all the time.
Right.
There was a great man that lived. His name was Forrest Gump.
I thought it was Scott.
And what did he say?
Life's like a box of chocolates.
Stupid is, stupid does.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get in there and try to,
Well, and you can't fix stupid.
Listen, what I say is, if those people who live in glass houses shouldn't walk around naked. Anyway,
I don't know. It depends on the person.
Scott, do you have an example of a time someone changed your position on something by pushing their own viewpoints?
Absolutely, but that's for different time, different show, and I honestly, there are a lot of things that have changed my view.
He's getting good at this hosting. Do you
Yeah.
see how he walked right around that? Whoop! Don't step on that.
Yeah, but no, there are quite a few things actually, Shayna, that have been done because and that's the big thing for me why I wanted to do this show, because it's actually changed my perspective in a lot of ways, because I go, wow, have I been living in a freaking, with my head in the sand? I didn't look at it that way. And for me, my mentality is I'm very old school, work hard, do what's right, and do your thing. Right. And I believe what I believe is right, and everyone else, not fuck you, but what I believe is right for me is what works for my life. Right.
Yeah.
And it's done very well. But with this show and just being involved with this station has opened my eyes up, and especially you, Shayna. You bring a lot of good comments out there. We have Shayna, we got Mary, we've got Lisa. You guys throw these things out to me, and I'm going, I've never been challenged like that before, because I live in my own. I live in my own little world, right? I have to open up to the rest of the world and succumb to the rules and regulations, if you will. But at the end of the day, it's really me and what I think.
There used to be a saying, you want to be the pebble in the shoe. It's kind of uncomfortable, is there?
Right, just enough to put a little extra.
I think a lot of our listeners, especially on this show, are just a little bit over the 20s age. Nate's not, but
so you'll help them if they break down.
Here's what I say.
No. If you don't have gray hair, I ain't helping you.
Here's what I say now, and if
you don't have hair, I'm not helping
we
either.
talk a lot about we've talked a lot about popcorn, but we just want to be that husk stuck between your teeth,
right?
And you can't get
just
it out all day. You're like,
right, something that's just got a little extra.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like, right. You can live with it, but it's something
right.
that's making you think about it. It's in the back of your mind that I got to take that or take a look at it. Right.
Yeah. Have a great weekend. Look, the new show coming out, folks, and we're on the back end of this is going to be The Slate. Now, if you remember, The Slate is the take one, right thing, right?
I thought that's called the Slate? I thought they called it something else. For some
It's
reason,
called
I
a
thought
Slate
Clap but Slate is Slate.
Yeah.
Is,
See, I thought it was something else, even
Yeah.
not even the clap.
No,
Or
it's called
whatever.
the Slate.
It's good. Yeah, guys. So
new
that
show
sounds-
coming out
yeah.
July 13th at 6 p.m.
That's not Friday the 13th, is it?
No,
I wish.
it's Wednesday.
Oh, I know, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, it would be cool.
Well, you could schedule it.
So that's
Make it-
coming out, and it'll be every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday. Yeah.
So every other Wednesday at 6, starting on July the 13th. It's called the Slate Real Talk, REEL Real Talk, with this guy right here, Scott Dean. It's gonna be massive. It's
It'll
gonna be
be
really,
fun.
really
It'll
cool.
be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it is at the end of the hour for us, and we really appreciate you guys all tuning in today to the
Thanks,
grounds.
Bob. Absolutely
Yeah.
love you, Bob. Know that. I love everybody who's out there.
Yeah.
I love to be challenged as well, because really over the last 2 weeks, I did a lot of digging and thinking and had to look at it and say, okay, what, you know,
Right. Well,
'cause
what's considered gouging?
being a man
What's
of my-
reasonable?
being a man of my word, I did answer the question, which I said I would do on air. I said,
Right.
let me think about it. Let me look at it. And what I really wanted to see was profit margins. And
Right.
I
Oh, you're
was,
not wrong. It's like I said, you're not wrong. It's
4
just-
points, a
It's
4.7.
the implementation. It's the implementation and the quick rise, and that's what really got everyone up in arms because they don't investigate it. But
The amazing thing is, what you really have to look at is, hey, good morning, Mike. Glad to have you, brother. The amazing thing, I think the thing you have to look at is really moving forward on things of that nature is the amount of tax dollars that are generated by the increase in prices. It's
well, in
huge.
Illinois, it's crazy huge.
Yeah.
It's a dollar more a gallon in Wisconsin or here than Wisconsin and Iowa. But we are at the end of the show, guys. So thanks for tuning in today at 216 to Net. Thanks, Scott Dean, for stopping in today and
Thanks for
sharing a
having
few
me.
words for him and his new exciting show starting, like they said, July 13th. Guys, just go out, love one another, share with one another, and realize that everybody has their own plight and their own issues going on in the world. You don't know what's going on in their life. You haven't walked a mile in their shoes. Think about that before you piss somebody off or say something stupid to somebody. Just give love, treat people the way you want to be treated.
That's it.
Stop back in. We've got a lot of good shows. Ken's gonna
Fridays
go over those
always
with you.
stacked, racked, and jacked. Coming up at 9 is the Bridging Civil Tension with Phil Wallace. Come back because it's still a lot of good topics there on the bridge. Listen, everybody. Until next time, be good. More importantly, be good to
Love yourself.
Yep.